I want to see, I think like a lot of you, what Glenn Beck thinks about this, because I think if anybody has the pulse on what it's like to live, think, and breathe like the Taliban, it's Glenn Beck. If anybody can understand the Taliban and their ridiculousness, it's Glenn Beck. I think he can, he sees kindred spirits in these folks. They share oh so much. So, but he's going to tell us, I have no doubt. This is called why. This is a question, even. It's titled with a question. This is one of those moments where apparently Glenn Beck does that. I'm going to lose my mind, like he does that a bunch. He doesn't realize he lost it a long time ago, and he's running on fumes mentally. So, Glenn, it's lost. Your brain is a lost cause. It sank into icy waters a long time ago while the band played. What's left of your corpus callosum went down with the ship. We are looking at a gourd with white hair on it at this point. I even made my Republican husband laugh. Well, I've tried. That's why. Let's bring everybody together. I'm one of those horrible people that thinks he can be friends with anybody, almost anybody. Watch yourself. All right. So let's why, all caps, is our CIA? Well, that's CIA is always cap. Negotiating with the Taliban. Who? Yeah, what kind of an asshole negotiates with the fucking Taliban? What kind of a monster would you have to be to negotiate with, oh shit. Huh. Well, at least he didn't set an exact date for exit. Right. Well, at least he didn't make that exact date conditional where if they decided they wanted to continue to bleed us dry or any terrorist group wanted to keep us there, they couldn't just, shoot one person and we'd be in for the next year. Oh, shit. Right. That's not. Well, at least it wasn't implemented, I suppose. That's the one upside. Who are the Taliban and what do they want? It looks like they're waiting for a bus, honestly. Obviously, they're not big on razors. In the winter of 1995, a New York Times correspondent visiting Afghanistan reported that after years of brutal civil strife, a big change seemed to be afoot. A new force of professed Islamic purists and Afghan patriots had quickly taken military control of more than 40% of the country, which is 80% nothing. It was surprising because until taking up arms just the year before, many of the fighters had been little more than religious pupils. Funny how it works out that way in the desert. It's almost like the sun exposure isn't good for your brain. Their very name meant students. The Taliban, they called themselves. A quarter century later, after outlasting an international military coalition in a war that cost tens of thousands of lives, the one-time students are now rulers of the land again. Because we got tired of it. Here, again, for fuck's sake, I'm tired of this graveyard of empires narrative. Everybody who came there decided it wasn't worth the fight anymore. Not because the fight was that vicious, because they were like, what the fuck are we, for what? What are we doing this for? What resource, and again, when you go back to like the Romans and the Mongols and stuff, they weren't looking for lithium for batteries. And we have other places we can get it to. The idea that Afghanistan is this like magical lithium playground is just friggin' dumb. And then even the oil part, like this isn't where the oil extraction comes from. Like, have you seen oil fields being set afire or any of that bullshit like you've seen in like you saw in Iraq? No. It's an opium farm and a bunch of desert. Fuck off. We don't want to be there. The Russians eventually are like, look, maybe we'll build a pipeline some other direction. This is ridiculous. When did they first emerge? Well, obviously, 1,994 years ago, because Trump said they've been around for thousands of years fighting. It's right there. They arose 1,994 years. Oh no, 1994. Sorry. So they're not as old as Alice in Chains' second record. But please tell me about their part in history. Jesus, the smoke blowing. All right, so why is he negotiating with the Taliban? Yes. Why would anyone negotiate with the Taliban? Okay, here we go.
Program, we're glad.
Sorry, hold on. I've got to turn down my other speakers. What the fuck? What? When did he join a synth pop band?
Some of the other stuff that is going on today is
well, obviously, you're smart enough not to mix your whites with your
really important, but we are trying to stay focused on what's right in front of us. What's
right in front of you? A giant touchscreen computer that I want, but I'm not quite sure what you use it for. A studio that you built with radio money, and your gut.
And that is this debacle of the Biden administration in Afghanistan.
Yeah. By the way, this will be known at some point in history as like 16 days in August, or some narrative like little story they tell about our extraction from Afghanistan. I would like you to take that in future when it appears in front of you and put that 16 days in August storyline next to 20 years of what the fuck. But by the way, every argument Glenn Beck is going to make based on this is stay forever. So just get used. Just settle in, kids. Get some, some Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, honestly, the potatoes and gravy are worth the trip. Honestly, the chicken's the modern chicken's a little too salty for me. But then again, Colonel Sanders, the real one, you fucker, baked me a cake on my 10th birthday. That's a true story. How many of you in the chat room can actually say that?
I wish I could get on the ground at the airport of Kabul.
I wish you could get on the ground at the airport of Kabul too. Outside the wall, maybe. Is there, let's see. What can we dress you up as?
I'd like to see the faces of our troops.
You're going to have a problem with that, though, because they're inside and they're moving people out. You can watch the videos of it. There's a lovely video of them giving water to children and cleaning up places and moving people about and sitting with them and organizing crowds and getting them on planes and getting them the fuck off. And but you don't want to really see the faces of our soldiers. You want them to be disappointed they're not staying because you can fucking leave.
Because I'm imagining that they are not happy.
Yes, that is your imagination.
At all.
At all. They're not happy. They want to stay there in 122 degree heat, fixing trucks for some fuckers who will hand it over to Al-Qaeda in the Taliban at the first sign of trouble. Yes, they're incredibly upset that they might be being moved to Germany to process people before going home.
And would just love to see them.
Yes. That's by the way, to be completely fair, that is Glenn Beck's fetish. Nothing gets him chubbing like a sad soldier.
Would just bring a camera and just pan, see what they are feeling.
See what they are feeling. All right.
I imagine they want to do a lot more than they're being allowed to do.
Oh,
yeah. Do you? What do you think they want to be doing? Going out into the street, opening fire on Taliban instead of evacuating Americans? Instead of doing the job that will end the war? Instead of doing their job honorably? You would like some sort of macho Delta Force bullshit that could get them killed? But hey, the upside is Glenn and whatever sidekick's name is. The upside is you assholes would go home and sit around with your fat asses and your fresh footage and go, look how sad this soldier looked before we sent him into the city to get his brains blown out when there were no Americans left in the country because I insisted. Like, this is just so fucking dumb.
You gotta believe it.
We have heard some reports over the past few hours
Have you?
that there have been some excursions into the city to pick up some people. Again,
Yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't tell you everything. Gee whiz. I don't understand why they don't just come out to the media and tell everybody, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for gathering today. By the way, our soldiers will be in a helicopter with these markings, the number on the side of it. These are the best of the best, our special forces. So if you want to aim a rocket at it, these are the guys to shoot at. They're going to land at a building. This is the address, and all the people will be on the roof with their children if you want to go over there and, I don't know, wear some sort of vest that blows up. I don't know why they don't tell you everything.
it seems like what we're doing is begging the Taliban to allow.
Is that what it seems like? It seems like we're what? We're begging the Taliban to what? Not shoot our soldiers for a year until we can get the fuck out, even though he never put forward a plan to get everybody out in the whole goddamn year? It seems like I imagine anything that will make the narrative in my head that Trump had a magic plan. He had a magic plan. At one time, there was it with sunbeams, and everyone was going to leave Afghanistan on a rainbow of lollipops. Fucking hell.
Us to do these things. Reportedly today, the CIA director met with the Taliban.
Uh-huh.
I guess negotiate.
Excuse me? Say that again. I think...
By the way, this is a setup. There is no fucking way that he said this and they hadn't talked about it before the show. So what you're about to see is some of Glenn Beck's acting.
I thought I heard you say it was our CIA director met with the Taliban.
Pompeo used to be a CIA director, and then he met with them and structured the deal that set us up to leave by May 1st with no deal to remove the Afghans that helped us or any structural plan to remove the Americans from the embassy at all.
What did you really say?
What?
Yeah, the original Trump plan left the embassy there and all the Americans in it.
I actually...
Yeah, well, just now. I misheard.
Thank you, Desert. Appreciate it. Told me to come over here and tell all of you, fine ladies and gentlemen, to thumbs up. Thanks, Desert Urbexer.
Here, I'll just read this for you. Mm-hmm. CIA...
Well, that in deference to the fact that Glenn Beck can't read, apparently.
Secretly visited Taliban in Kabul.
Okay, a couple of problems with that. One, it's not a secret if we're reading about it.
Well, the meeting's over. Apparently.
Yeah, again, not something you should broadcast.
But didn't stop you.
I'm glad they did, because the other problem I have with that is, what is the CIA director doing meeting with the Taliban?
I would guess that they are coordinating the military intelligence response, which is the people that are actually getting the folks that helped us, because they would be part of military intelligence out. And these are the people, and saying, these are the people you don't fuck with. They're leaving with us, and we're letting you know. And if you listen to us and you let these people through your checkpoints and stop fucking with them, we won't strafe bomb everything in the South the minute we leave. Because we absolutely have the power to do that. That's why. That's essentially why.
He's
a former diplomat.
Mm-hmm.
Met on Monday with Abdul Ghani Baradar.
Love that.
Yeah, who would meet with Abdul Baradar? I mean, isn't that guy in jail in Pakistan? Oh, right. Who would meet with this guy, much less spring him from prison?
I gotta say, the president's name was Ghani. Now we've got Ghani and the Taliban. I'm never going to be able to keep these people separate. I'm never going to know what anyone's talking about.
Well, so nothing will change. I see. That's his middle name. You don't have to say it. Just say Abdul Baradar. It's not hard. Why? I mean, but these are the guys who, spent the better part of 8 years saying Obama bin Laden.
I got news for you. I don't know who anybody is anyway.
Yeah, well, that's no surprise. It's not like you do this every fucking day. You certainly didn't know about who they were when Trump met with them last year and negotiated our exit after springing the fucker from a Pakistani jail.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Can you just? I want you to take a moment, Glenn.
Yes. Some deep breaths. Perhaps. A swig of something.
To bring yourself back in time a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
We started this show before.
It's going to be the 9/11 thing.
We started doing the talk show in like 98 or 99. But the syndication deal we signed to go national, we signed in August of 2001. So just weeks before
He's told this story before.
September 11 attacks.
Yes.
And then we were supposed to start the show in January 2002. But they moved it up because of the attack. So we've been basically...
Yes, they're like, hey, the world's going to shit, and it looks like we're stampeding towards war. Who could help that move faster?
On the air since September 11th. The arc of the show, a 20-year arc.
The arc of the show. So you basically come full circle, and you still don't know what the fuck is going on there. It's been 20 years, and you don't know who the fuck the Taliban are.
Of the show.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, let's say... November 2001. I bring you back in time to that period. And I say, you know what's going to wind up happening is we're going to negotiate with the Taliban to basically give them the country.
Does he even fucking know? There are levels of dumb, but this is fucking amazing. Please, and that Donald Trump would be the one to do it, unless that's the follow-up sentence.
And then we're going to strand, and yes, Jen Psaki, I said strand thousands of Americans and the Afghans who helped us in the 20-year war.
All right. Yeah. Wait. I got it.
And then, hold on. We're going to have the CIA director go negotiate with the Taliban to hopefully move the Taliban's red line to the United States. If I were to give you that...
The what?
Scenario, let's say November 2001. How do you feel about that?
Let me give you the scenario and my response.
Great. And at that point, you were big Trump fans.
Give you the response I would have made in November. Stu.
Oh, so his name is Stu. We do know that now. We've learned that piece of. I mean, his name is Stu. His entire insides seem to be made of stew. I don't know how I'm going to keep these people straight.
I know every empire has died in Afghanistan.
Bullshit, they left.
I know that the British, the Soviet Union, there has never been...
We drove the Soviets out of Afghanistan. We gave the arms to Osama bin Laden and the Mujahideen. Fuck off.
Anyone that has won a war... in Afghanistan.
Everybody gave up because they're like, what? We're fighting over a vacant lot.
But I believe in our troops, and I believe our troops will win the war. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They did. We got Osama bin Laden. We decimated Al-Qaeda down to 500 randos, and none of the senior structure are still alive. If they are, they're in other countries, not Afghanistan.
If you would have said to me, well, Glenn, yes, we're going to win the war, but then we're going to elect a president.
Thank you, Robert.
It's just going to abandon everything on the ground.
Yeah, well, that's what Trump did. That's what Trump did. Yeah. Donald John Trump abandoned everything on the ground. All the stuff that wasn't evac'd before he left office, could have been, should have been, wasn't. The final soldiers, all 2,500 of them, removed from Bagram Air Force Base. Some of the southern bases pulled back towards Kabul. That was the last stand of it. And then, of course, the Taliban were already moving across the country because of the deal Trump made. Anything that was still there, the only thing we weren't strafe bombing or blowing up was stuff that the Afghan army was supposed to use, and we couldn't do it then because we're still there, and technically speaking, they could still be fighting. So you're going to blow up bases with people because they have machine guns and Humvees and busted helicopters because the there's only 900 soldiers still in that base fighting back against the Taliban, and fuck them. We just don't want, they're a lost cause. And then we're surprised they dropped their shit and ran.
Including our...
And yes, these, thank you, Kim. Yes, indeed, these buttholes are rooting for the Taliban.
$1 billion embassy that we built because we won the war. And for 20 years...
By the way, thanks for confirming, Glenn, that Trump's plan was always to keep the embassy there, no matter what.
Years.
No soldiers, just standard protection in Kabul.
Any girl under 20 knows the power that she has, the inherent rights that she has. But our president is just going to hand it back over to the thugs and killers that we killed and ran out 19 years ago.
Sorry, the Afghan government and the army of Afghanistan that we paid billions of dollars to train and equip are going to hand that over. Now, I would love, at this very moment, Glenn, please present your plan to invade Yemen, Central Africa, the Mongolian territories, parts of fucking Budapest where women are treated like shit, and set up 3 bases in each of those fucking places.
Then I would say that's a fantasy. That's a fantasy land. There's no way.
But then you saw the deal that Trump struck with them, and you went, holy shit, it's all coming true. Stu was telling us the future that Donald Trump would bring us. Now, granted, Donald Trump never brought us this future because even though he absolutely could have gotten us out of Afghanistan in any time in the last 4 years because nothing had changed, Donald Trump is a coward and a nutless scrotum who's incapable of making these kind of decisions, is a completely political animal and a show horse that's on its last legs. So that at no point was this actually going to play out. Had he won the election, May 1st would have come and gone. They would have said, Sebastian Gorka said it yesterday, winter's really the time you leave. We would have gotten to winter and gone, we're sticking around because we want the resources or whatever. It would have been a resource war again because we have to keep the oil or whatever.
Could happen in America.
I have a terrible news.
Wait, I thought we were talking about just hypothetically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have terrible news. The guy both of you voted for set up exactly the situation you're talking about. However, Joseph Robinette Biden became president and is extracting as many as 70,000 people in a week and a half.
No, it really is incredible. I mean, I remember when
yes, you are not credible, Stu.
Administration first sort of pitched negotiating with the Taliban, and it's been a bad idea from president to president since day one.
Oh yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. So the guy who actually did it, and fucking hell, like how? I was just about to say how thick can you be, but.
Ever been a good idea to negotiate with the Taliban?
No.
Ever?
Never, not ever. And especially to spring their fucking boss from jail to do it. What the fuck are these guys thinking? Honest to God. Stu, Glenn, how dumb are you guys? This is kind of shocking. Like, I know you guys are assholes, but at least you make some, I mean, this is like go to tie your shoes, miss, and fall off a cliff level dumb. There is no fucking way they don't know that Trump and Pompeo negotiated a deal with the Taliban to exit by May 1st, didn't do any follow-up on how to get the Afghans that helped us out, slowed the SIV program down to a trickle, if not shut it off entirely so that we couldn't, didn't do anything more than any other president or any other military leader did as far as removal of gear, which is SOP, it's standard operating procedure. There is no fucking way these assholes don't know. How dumb this dumb?
No.
And, sure.
I was
Sure what? Sure Trump negotiated this exit without any strategy to actually get people out? That kind of sure? You fucking twit.
crazy angry with Donald Trump when he did it. I thought it was an embarrassment when he did it.
But then afterwards, you forgot all about it. And now you're going to pretend that there was no deal in place. And Stu is not liking you right now. You were supposed to avoid this conversation, Glenn.
But that's nothing compared to this.
Well, yeah, because making a deal and following through on the deal are two totally different things. And Trump is like I said, a coward and a nutless scrotum, and is incapable of holding up his end of any deal. Ask Rudy Giuliani.
And anybody who thinks that Donald Trump would have allowed this to happen,
no, he wouldn't have, because he wouldn't have allowed the exit to happen, you dolt.
no way. Just
because, yeah, you know what part of it, though, Glenn? The leaving part.
let me just say this.
Yeah, just say this.
Let's just say, and I don't believe this for a second, let's just say he doesn't care about America at all.
Now, obviously,
That's true.
true.
Yeah, it's not true.
It is true. It is actually true. He's a self-involved asshole. Otherwise, we would have gotten out of Afghanistan because nothing materially changed on the ground in the last 4 fucking years.
Donald Trump is not going to allow Donald Trump to be humiliated, embarrassed that way.
Which is why he never left. Because everybody told him, no matter what happens, the minute we start leaving, shit's going to fall apart. And it's going to look like garbage on TV. There's very little opportunity for this to not look like Saigon. Everybody who legit had a conversation about this was saying, look, we get out, but the minute we start leaving, shit is going to hit the fan. That's why he pushed it off to his second term, and the idea that, well, if I'm my second term, it's all legacy stuff, and I'll make myself a kingmaker because I don't really give a shit after that, and we'll be out within 3 years by the time, which is why he set the May 1st date, and why we're sticking to this date, is because politically, if you wait till later in the year or into the spring of next year, it affects the election, which is why he never did it, which is why other presidents never did it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
Yeah. Well, no way, because he never follows through on anything. He's a fuck up. Trump is a fuck up. It's what he is. It's who he is. There's no version of events where we're leaving Afghanistan and it's fucking rainbows and unicorns, or it's a fucking nuke going off, because the chance that Trump would actually follow through is zero.
This is special. This is special skill of Joe Biden.
Yeah, to actually get us out and not give a fuck what assholes like you say.
Man, Joe, to be able to go down this road.
It really is.
Because
Because nobody else could. Nobody else did.
He does.
I wouldn't invite these assholes on my show. They wouldn't come anyways. I met Glenn Beck once at Politicon, and we took a picture together because I'd made everybody at the table laugh, and he leaned into, we were taking pictures, and he leaned in, but he made a face like this because he didn't know who I was, and he didn't know whether or not he should smile in the picture with me. Because if I turned out to be somebody, that he should be against later, and he was smiling in a picture with me, it would do some damage. Because he's a fucking coward.
Even seem to have the interest in protecting his own presidency.
No.
It's weird. It's almost like he's making the right decision, whether it's politically expedient or not. It's dare I say, the exact opposite of Donald Trump.
Alone caring about the American troops, or let alone caring about the Afghans that helped us, or let alone caring about religious.
One moment. Let's see. Where are we going to? Okay. Afghanistan evacuation numbers. Whoops. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Sometimes my the keyboard is set on the wrong one, you know. Let's see. Whoops. I'm typing around a corner. Mm-hmm. New Afghanistan evacuation numbers for this Monday morning via White House official. Approximately 10,400 people evacuated from Kabul in the last day, and 37,000 people since August 14th. The U.S. has evacuated facilities approximately 37,000 people since the end of July. We have relocated approximately 42,000 people. So, yeah, but we're leaving them all behind. We're leaving them all.
Stories there that are being murdered. Let alone forget all of that.
Forget all the women and girls that use.
By the way, are you hoping they set up a dating service, Glenn, for your sister wives, since you chose to become a Mormon because that was a possibility a while back?
Hey, I mean, guys, the left has absolutely no room to talk.
Yeah, we do, actually, because the room that's being made is by our vacating Afghanistan. There's a lot of open space there.
About the treatment of women and the treatment of girls and how we have to protect. They have no credibility.
Really? Because the actual programs in all the countries like Afghanistan are all the work of, quote unquote, the left.
Have exposed themselves.
Yes, he's a Mormon. He and his wife chose to be Mormons. They were not religious. When he had kids, he decided that he wanted to be a Mormon because they give you a planet after you die. He literally went religion shopping. There was a whole he did a series of shows about it a long time ago.
It's not.
It's the phoniest bunch of religious bullshit I have ever seen in my life.
Caring at all. At all. The people who should be screaming the loudest are the woke community.
Yeah, where's the Me Too and this? And not.
Well, we're the ones wanting to evacuate those women and get them to safety and bring them to the United States. Are you for bringing them all here? Are we evacuating the mass of Afghan women and bringing them to the United States? Glenn, what date should we set? May 1st next year? We can always punt it again, right, Glenn?
Taken the Taliban from a bunch of people who basically were, fighting in caves against us during the war, to one of the best and most well-armed militaries in the world.
Well, they're well-armed because we left everything behind.
Which we didn't, actually. And even the airplanes and helicopters they have don't work anymore because our contractors left and no one is servicing them. And it's 122 degrees. You dipshit.
5,898 vehicles, 599,690 weapons, 208 aircraft.
Yes, the Afghan military's entire catalog. How many Taliban pilots do you think there? Should we look again at the? Shall we go to the? Here you go. We're going to the pilot program. For the Taliban right now. Their name means students. So this is them all showing up for, to learn all the radio comm shorthand when you're flying an airplane. These are all future Taliban jet pilots. And trust me, they will learn how to fly before the multi-million-dollar planes rot on the runway or are bombed after we've left. I'm certain of it.
Reconnaissance equipment, 16,191. This is from
reconnaissance equipment. Binoculars.
Books.com, by the way. Communications equipment, 162,643 items. Think of
items. Communication items like headsets, radios. They're basically just listing off all the shit we gave to the Afghan military that they didn't use. But we were supposed to blow up the bases with the Afghan military in them as the Taliban moved across the country so we could kill all the people that were fighting on our side? The fuck are you talking about? What is this?
Think about this.
I'm thinking about it. And apparently, I'm actually not smelling burnt toast.
Used to go back again to 2001 for a moment. What is one of the greatest advantages?
This doesn't work out.
Oh.
It doesn't work out for us.
What's one of the reasons why we do so well in warfare when our military...
Because we have communications, we have night vision.
Night vision, right? Just take night vision for a moment.
Uh-huh.
Tens of thousands of night vision goggles and associated equipment.
That, by the way, you
paid for.
And you cannot buy in stores.
You can't buy it.
You can't buy it.
It was provided to the Afghan military. So we were supposed to train these guys to control the country and not give them radios, night vision goggles, vehicles, airplanes, guns, and bullets. Great. That's a terrific strategizing, guys. Which manga version of Sun Tzu's The Art of War did you blow your nose on the pages of to come up with that strategy, Glenn?
You just can't use it.
Yeah, Americans can't buy it.
Yeah, it's military gear. And?
For your use.
And so,
yeah, we also can't have AK-47s, and none of us want to live in a cave.
He gave that
not none of us. A couple of you, clearly.
Afghan military, who then promptly turned it over to the Taliban.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a crucial step there that you've been leaving out till now, Stu.
As this has developed.
As it's developed. Oh, it developed, did it? So the plan that was, say, in existence in February that didn't take that into account, started to take that into account, and now, all right.
Now, if we, God forbid, if it gets out of control again and we have to go back in, which is totally possible, by the way, totally possible.
Is it?
We again build an area that is free passage for terrorists and they start blowing up our buildings, we're going to be back in there again. Don't dismiss this as if it's over, because...
Yeah, we'll be back in there with drones. We will not be constructing a government. We will not be constructing a fighting force. We will not have 15,000 soldiers training a bunch of assholes to drop their guns day one. We're not going to be training half the Taliban because these are the half the military just switched sides as soon as those assholes showed up. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be providing them with more gear. And you think that's our top of the line fucking gear? You think we gave them the best stuff?
That's the whole problem with leaving.
Don't count on
That's the whole problem with leaving. Again, stay forever. Everything that we've heard is just blather. The only sentence that matters in this is they want to stay forever. Add Stu and Glenn Beck to the Make Afghanistan the 51st state crowd. Not DC, not Puerto Rico, Afghanistan.
It might not be Joe Biden. Oh, it might be. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Joe Biden. It might be 10 years from now. But eventually we're going to go back in there and we're going to have to deal with a Taliban that has all this equipment.
Yeah, 10 years from now, they're going to be using the same shit. What do you think the chances are that in 10 years, the United States military is still relying on head-worn night vision as the thing that puts them over the top in battle? 10 years. Fucking 10 years. 10 years. Right.
Well, they'll have all that equipment anyway because Joe Biden's son is allowing Chinese to come in and spy on our military and buy things, through bribery, et cetera, et cetera.
That's another huge part of this.
And China...
He's allowing it. He's allowing it? So, by the way, this is Glenn Beck saying that because Hunter Biden supposedly has access to investment money from China 10 years ago, at this point, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that this means that our military and our military intelligence are selling shit to the Chinese under the table that they wouldn't be able to figure out on their own. Things like night vision goggles. By the way, May I? Hold on. By the way, some of you may or may not be familiar with a site called Alibaba. A guy named Jack Ma, who's a alleged Chinese billionaire. And the reason I say alleged is because are you really a billionaire? Are you really a billionaire if you can't leave your country with your money? I don't think so. If your money is no good anywhere but where you are, you're not really a billionaire. You're kind of an odd. You might be a high-priced prisoner at that point. But this is Alibaba. This is a site that that's a Chinese site created by Jack Ma. There it is, right there, Alibaba.com. And this is you can buy stuff on here. This is like the Amazon of the world. Like this is crazy. Like you can buy buildings on here. It's ridiculous. I mean it. Like they'll send you a kit for a skyscraper. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. By the way, don't buy one. They'll fall apart. Here's some, there you go, $3,100. There's a pair of night vision goggles. These are precisely the exact ones that military wears. Here's another one. Chinese military factory custom made special military NVG Gen 3 night vision goggles. Those are $18.45 to $25.45 a piece. One piece minimum order. You can buy a bunch of them though. Here's the Luke Skywalker style one. Here's a site that does that. Here's a long form Amazon hot sell night vision goggles, binoculars, for these guys. I imagine if the Chinese got a hold of our gear and were able to reverse engineer, they're going to find some of this stuff in the desert and it's almost as if fucking this is not new science. LNU military head mounted night vision helmet for this. Here, check this out. Let's see what this one is. Look at this. Look, this is some spacey looking shit. Look at this thing. There you go. And you mount it right there and you tack it right on to the top of your helmet. And then that's what it attaches to. And then there's the vision thing that clips onto the front of there. And then you just lower it on your eye. He looks very determined and quite white, I will say. There you go. There's an optical. Here's even how to use it. There you go. You just feel like this is how it works. And you see how nice that is? Night vision goggles. There's a little thing right there. And you just attach it right over your eyeballs. And there you go. It's gee whiz, Glenn. What if the Chinese got a hold of some, I don't know, technology? What the fuck is he talking about?
It's going to give them all of that.
Yeah. Oh my God. What if, holy shit. The big worry is, of course, Humvees. Let's see. Let's look up. Let's see. Humvee. Yeah. What if they discover the Chinese discover Humvees and start figuring out how to make those and sell them? By the way, you want one? Here's a real one. Talking about 4x4 off-road car. It's got a 12-month warranty. It's $8,800. There you go. How about this guy right here? There's a little M-Wrap extras on it, on the top of it. $210,000. You only get one, though. Here's one for $15,000 and $19,000. This one's pretty sweet looking. What do you think? Look at this guy. If you get 100 or more, you get a deal. They're only $15,000. I'm just saying, it's a fairly badass vehicle. It's probably built for shit. But that's got that extra deflection armor in case that's what it normally looks like. And then you put the shield on the front in case there's an IED or shit gets in the engine while you're trying to drive away. You can get one of these guys. How about this truck? You want one of these? What the fuck is this thing? That's for sale. Glenn, what if they figure out how to get a big yellow water taxi? It's only $245,000. You can order it right there or whatever. Here's another Humvee you can buy, Glenn. What if they get a hold of these things and they figure out how to do it? Look at this. They'll turn them into campers where the kids can play. Look at that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, they're getting a look at the big board. Yeah, no one in China is wondering how the fuck to make night vision goggles, you dunce.
Did you see that China, I think Saudi Arabia and Russia and Iran have just made a deal?
Yeah, good luck with that, guys. Have fun playing with your shit in the sand. I'm sure it'll work out. Bye.
And China and Russia have also made a deal with the Taliban.
Right. Everybody's making a deal with them right now. And I'm sure the fact that the Taliban is just a loosely knit group of tribes that will eventually start blowing each other up for control will have no effect on pipelines, gear, or mining in the state. We are lucky to get the fuck out when we can.
I think there's an axis of evil.
Yes, and if they can get bogged down in the desert dicking around forever, good luck to them. Bye.
Being formed. And we strangely are trying to form our own apparent axis of evil. Where's the Allied power here?
Don't copy it.
By not getting bogged down and spending $148 to $300 million a fucking day.
Organizational structures. Can I also say
exactly Chinese tofu technology, the tofu dung buildings all over. Yeah, wait till Chinese like the Chinese. Hold on. Why is this acting weird? Buildings. Yeah, imagine if the Chinese roll into Afghanistan and start building these high quality building. Typhoon exposes tofu dreg project in eastern China. There you go. There we go. There you go. There's this side of it. You see these balconies just falling off. How about this guy? How about the whole face of the building falling off? Imagine the control the Taliban is going to enjoy with folks like these building all their schools and all your libraries and all your, yeah. And let's don't forget. Hold on, this guy. These right here, and yeah. So this is what the that's a Nigerian school that the Chinese built. Yeah, I'm sure that everything will work out, and that Russia's really going to eat our lunch along with China in this process.
We have this idea of arming other countries, and it doesn't always seem to work out the best possible way.
May I rephrase that a little bit? It never works out.
So we shouldn't stay there. We would have to, if we stayed at all, by the way, we would have to continue training their military, maintaining the airplanes, maintaining all the gear, providing them with more guns, updating their materials, giving them new technology. Every time we have a new technology, they're going to get the cast-offs again and again. This is so odd.
But can I at least, this is just an idea, and can we float, because this safety tree?
Hey, safety tree. You can do it. I'm not gonna cancel you.
Safe space.
Yeah.
Can we at least put self-destruct buttons in these things? I want a self-destruct. The Taliban takes over. We blow up all the weapons from one remote button.
Yeah, because no one would ever get a control of that. Imagine the Americans move in and they're going to help your military, but everything they give you has a self-destruct button. I mean, when I thought that they couldn't get any dumber.
Drone.
Your new slightly used Humvee. Thank you, Candy. I appreciate that. Yes, don't forget, guys. If you want, let's see. I do not want a Humvee off of Alibaba, but if we were going to start, let's see, what could I get off here that would be pretty cool? Let's see. If I really could get something off of here, let's see. Let's see. If I could honestly buy something off here, like this guy would work for me though. A flat pack modular mobile shipping container office prefab 20 feet by 40 feet storehouse built out of a container. They just ship it to me. That'd be cool. $799 a piece. If I get from 1 to 12 of them, that'd be nice. Prefabricated luxury modular house, whatever. By the way, when I'm mayor of Los Angeles, we're going to use city money to order a bunch of these on the cheap as temporary housing for the homeless as people transition in, especially until we get, more housing built long term in there, that these would be, functional spaces where people could sleep, and you could make a bunch of them, and then you could start stacking them. But I have to say, this thing's pretty cool. This one right here, they put that in the backyard. I wouldn't put the plumbing part of it. I think this is really just a sit outside kind of thing. These things have plumbing hookups. These do, but that's not what I want this one because it looks like it's from The Thing. Just like be out in a winter storm. Yeah, but they give you like modular things, and then you stack them or you put them next to each other like that. There you go. Then you can fly them in. Now they'll be shitty and they won't last very long. But as temp housing goes, they're incredibly cheap, and they would help certainly with homeless issues temporarily until you could get people in more permanent housing. And it certainly would work in situations where you had an emergency. They could be stored in warehouses, and then I'm just saying, getting one for the ranch. All right, B. Gabriel, there you go. They are indeed cool, but they are also, just for the record, largely shit. Although I've seen a few of these things around when I was. Who the fuck put this here? Look, it's teetering off the edge. Who's the jackass that put that? Look at that. Look right there. Put the whole foot. What are you doing? You wanted it right up against the water so it looked nice, but it's so far back. There's an air conditioning unit in the top. It's glass on this side. There you go. It's just a little room, a little office thing. And you can put the shower right there. There's somebody inside. They're taking pictures of it. $1,400. Not real brick, by the way, just for the record. That's a sticker on the outside. It's not brick. And if you can shit in your own house, or you can build an outhouse or something like that, this worked very well. It's just kind of an office space outside on property, whatever. That would be what that's for. $1,400. There you go. Just saying. What? Yep. Yeah, if you want to, you could fish out the back. No, they do not float, Lolima. They do not. This thing, I'm gonna guess, does not float. But imagine, yeah.
When they take
if that's where I put super chats on something I could buy off of Alibaba, that's in the ballpark. Then we'd move the studio out there, and I'd have to hook it up to air conditioning and put solar panels on it, and then that's the next step, whatever. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe and give a thumbs up and share the show and all that stuff.
With a drone and they go to bomb somebody, it just flies back to the United States and lands safely. Why? I want a button that makes, I want it to just, you know how they have those like ink packets that when you steal money from a bank they explode? I want basically some version of that in every weapon we give to anybody else. So at some point when we decide they've gotten to the wrong hands, we just press the button and they all just go away.
I don't think
that we do have that. It's technically called obsolescence. We are always advancing our shit. They're not.
You've gone far enough.
No.
I would like the night vision goggles that if you steal it or, we just leave it behind, you push a button and knives go through your eyes.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's hilarious comedy jokes from Glenn Beck, because that's what you want from your partners on the ground. By the way, all the stuff we're giving you, all we have to do is push a button and it'll kill you. So that's good.
That's what I would like, but maybe it's just me.
And this is consistent across all of them. The reason they are making these kind of jokes about this stuff, and this is where their flailing attempt at making this, kind of just fodder to fill in, is because ultimately, what did we just watch? That's a 11 minute 42 seconds long, that clip from Glenn Beck's show, which he posted himself, which has 8,000 views, and he allegedly has 602,000 subscribers. My videos get about that sometimes, and I've got 20,000 subscribers. But, draw your own conclusions about whose followers are actually genuine human beings. And you are.